Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We're just going to give it another quick minute before we get started. All right, that's my cue. Let's get things kicked off. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Intuit Insider Look series. Today, we're talking about a day in the life of a remote tax professional. My name is Laura, and I'm your host for today. First, a few housekeeping items before we get started. Please note that the chat box is disabled, but on the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A box that you can use. This is for your questions. So feel free to add any questions that come up here in the box. We've got a full team of professionals behind the scenes that will be answering questions live during the webinar. So we'll do our best, of course, to cover all the information that you might have questions about. But if we miss something, do not worry. We will be doing a little bit of Q&A at the end of the presentation. Please rest assured that we will send out a recording after today's call. And then you'll also notice a Q&R code here on our slide deck. At any point during our presentation, feel free to scan the code to apply to be a TurboTax Live professional if you are interested. All right, we've also just dropped that link to apply in the chat box. Now, if you are tuning into this webinar from Canada, we have also placed the application link to apply for our Canadian roles in the chat box as well. However, there is no need for you to stay on the webinar today since this session is geared towards our roles in the US. All right, so with that, we will begin. We've got a lot of information to cover. We want you to feel good about understanding Intuit, TurboTax Live, our roles, and make sure that you have a firm grounding as to what you can expect when you apply. So stay with us, ask questions as they come up. This information really will help you get the full scope and background you need in order to be 100% certain when applying for a role with us. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to start off with a quick round of introductions to our panelists. You'll get an idea of who you're hearing from. We will talk about Intuit and who we are as a company, as well as our mission. We'll, of course, talk about TurboTax Live and why this is an organization that you'll want to be a part of. And then you'll get to hear from an actual real-life TurboTax Live expert, someone who was once in your shoes and thought this job could be a good fit for them. They applied, they went through the interview process themselves, and have now turned this into a career. So the expert you'll be hearing from today is Elizabeth, who's going to share her journey. And then finally, you'll also be hearing from a TurboTax Live recruiter who will talk to you about what it takes to apply and become a part of the team. You'll hear from my good friend Thomas today, who will discuss the types of positions we're hiring for, the step-by-step process that you'll follow from recruitment all the way through onboarding, and then some helpful tips to follow for conducting a successful interview. You will also learn how you can get ahead of the game and have your application stand out from the crowd by taking supplementary free online tax courses from our very own Intuit Tax Academy, or Intuit Academy, excuse me. Now, with any time we have left at the end, I mentioned we will do some question and answer to ensure that you have all the information you need in order to get yourself on this incredible team of experts. All right, let's learn about who you'll be hearing from today. I would like to welcome our TurboTax Live panelists onto our virtual stage here to introduce themselves. Thomas and Elizabeth, how are you doing today?
Good morning.
Morning, doing well. Thanks, Laura.
Wonderful. Why don't you give us a quick introduction of yourself, including your role, how long you've been with us, and what you do here at Intuit, and then, of course, where you're calling in from today. Let's start with you, Elizabeth.
Okay, thanks, Laura, and thanks for having me today. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm a full-time manager here with Intuit. I'm calling from La Habra Heights, California. Originally, if I sound a little different, I'm from the Great Lakes area, so I'm really from the Midwest, and that's where I started doing taxes more years ago than I'm willing to disclose. But thank you again for having me.
So thank you as well. Hi, everybody. I'm Thomas Flynn. I'm a senior recruiter. Elizabeth, I'm near where you're from in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have been with Intuit just about 3 years now and have been recruiting with the tax team, or TurboTax team, I should say, just almost that full time as well. I've been a recruiter for nearly 17 years, and I do have 2 dogs here. Hopefully they keep quiet, but if not, you may hear some barking in the background. Excited to be here with everyone today and share a little bit more.
Fantastic. It is great having you both here with us today. A little bit about me. I'm working towards 17 years of recruiting experience as well. I am in my 7th year here at Intuit, and I've had the pleasure of supporting our customer success teams, as well as hiring our leadership roles for QuickBooks Live, and then, of course, helping TurboTax Live continue to scale. I am located in Dallas, Texas, and very happy to be here today. So with that, we are going to dive in and talk about who we are as a company and our mission. So here's a little history. Intuit's journey began 40 years ago when our founder, Scott Cook, sat at his kitchen table and watched his wife as she struggled to balance her checkbook. And he thought, there must be a better way to do this accounting. Intuit is the culmination of that small idea, the concept of making everyday finance easier, which has evolved Intuit into a global technology giant in the financial services industry. Today, we have 4 key products in our portfolio: TurboTax Live, QuickBooks Live, Credit Karma, and MailChimp. But we're still driven by that core vision that founded this company. There must be a better way to help our customers financially. TurboTax Live, which is the product you're all here for today, is our largest and most well-known brand out there. In the US and Canada, TurboTax is by far the leader, the #1 do-it-yourself tax tool that's out there. All of you on this call are here today because of the fact that you have an interest in taxes, accounting, and interested in becoming tax experts. The reality is if you are not doing someone's taxes and they're doing it themselves, they're likely using TurboTax to do it. Here at Intuit, we have over 50 million individual tax filers across the US alone who use TurboTax to do their taxes. So we really are the leader in this space. Now, Intuit's mission is powering prosperity around the world. This means with our consumers and with our customers, who could be anyone from your individual tax filer to a consumer who uses Credit Karma or a small business owner looking to make sure they can manage their business financials. In any case, our goal for you is that for each customer, we're powering their own prosperity and that they're putting more money in their pocket and that they are making sure they can use their money as a tool to grow their own personal wealth and life in a way that ensures that they're not living paycheck to paycheck, but rather know where their money is and how it's growing. So powering prosperity around the world is everything from making sure our consumers are getting the biggest possible tax refunds to making sure our small business owners globally are able to get the money they need to make their business a success. Each one of our 4 products is created with this mission in mind, helping people power their own prosperity. Okay, so why work for Intuit? Let's jump into a little bit more here. We are a top company to work with. Now I'll walk you through why we are a top company from many distinguished organizations that have ranked us as a best place to work. Just this year, Fortune magazine ranked us number 23 on their 100 best companies to work for in the US. There are over 7,500 companies that are surveyed on the Best Place to Work Index on Fortune 500's best. And again, out of those 7,500 companies, we were ranked number 23. This has to do with many things: how we treat our employees, how our employees are evaluated, paid, and the ability to make each employee have a successful career in terms of job growth and recognition. Now, there are many ways here in which Intuit walks the walk and doesn't just talk the talk. Here's a fun fact for you all. We've been on this list for more than 20 years and almost exclusively in the top 20 best places to work. Forbes lists Intuit as America's best employers for diversity. Now, diversity, equity, and inclusion are not just buzzwords for us. We have had a chief diversity, equity, and inclusion officer for years, and this is core to who we are. This runs very deeply throughout our organization. We focus a great deal on equitability so that every employee has the opportunity to be successful in their career. And that our team, of course, better represents the millions of customers that we support. We have also been listed by Glassdoor's Best Places to Work, Employee's Choice. And then again, I've already talked about how TurboTax Live is the #1 tax provider with over 50 million unique taxpayers filing their taxes each year. So here's why we're asking you to be here. We're looking for you to work here as experts because we have a giant virtual network of tax professionals like yourself who are out there to help those 50 million taxpayers file their taxes. Now, most consumers who are filing taxes don't have your knowledge and expertise. They have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt when it comes to filing their taxes. They're worried they're not getting the biggest possible tax refund, or they might get audited. That tax refund check, right, really matters to people, and everyone's concerned they're not getting the right amount of money back. So this is exactly why we need our remote tax professionals to come in and help reduce some of that fear and uncertainty when it comes to filing taxes. So we're looking for people just like you who know taxes and are professionals in this area to come in and talk live on camera to our customers, walk them through their tax returns, and either help them prepare their taxes or in some cases actually do their taxes for them. All right, it's a great opportunity to connect with people from all 50 states and be able to really help and support them in their tax filing needs. And again, reduce some of that uncertainty and doubt along the way. All right, let's zoom in and talk a little bit more about TurboTax Live. Now, even in today's economy, the need for TurboTax Live experts to join our team only continues to grow. Unlike other jobs in the market today, our roles here have been stable and continue to be resilient to the economy. So again, that need to hire tax experts like yourself just increases year after year. Now, what do you get if you do come work for us? I would like to bring our TurboTax Live recruiter back to the stage to speak to you about the benefits you'll get if you accept a job with TurboTax Live. So Thomas, welcome back. Let us know a little bit more about the benefit.
Sure. Thanks, Laura. Hi again, everybody. So first and foremost, you'll get to work remote from your home or home office. This is a fully remote job, so as long as you are within the US, you can work where you like. You'll also be able to select the schedule that best works for you with our scheduling model that we have here. So for scheduling during tax season, we offer work schedules on a first come, first served basis around our operating hours. Those normal operating hours are 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And then our extended seasonal hours, those are 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific or 8 a.m. Eastern to midnight Eastern. It normally starts mid-January through April when we start getting busy. You must be able to commit to a minimum schedule of at least 20 hours per week and minimum 4-hour time blocks to make up that 20 hours throughout the tax season. So no matter what role you're in, some of the benefits here, these are pretty great. We offer a 401k savings plan and an Intuit matching program. For every dollar you contribute, Intuit will contribute $1.25 up to 6%. I'll also share you're vested on day one. Now, if you come back year after year, we continue to match over and over for you as long as you work through the season. And our employee stock purchase plan is another benefit. This gives you the opportunity to buy stock at employee prices. Now, if you're interested in stock, take a look at how we're doing. It really is a great benefit to have. And we also have an employee assistance program and paid sick leave. On top of that, you get product discounts, of course, and partial internet reimbursement. So all these benefits, they're available to you, even though it is just a seasonal 4-month out of the year position.
Fantastic.
well,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Thomas. All right. So there are typically three major areas where we see our tax experts come to work for Intuit, and they do the job well. So let's walk through these. The first area are those who are in pre-retirement or maybe fully retired. Maybe you have run your own business for many years in the past, but you don't really want to be your own boss anymore with all that responsibility that comes, that stress and responsibility, right, of owning your own business. But you're still an expert in this space. So why not sign up for a job where you can work remote, choose your work schedule, and make some extra money during the tax season? The second area is experts that have a full-time job already and want to make extra money outside of this full-time job during the tax season. This is a great job opportunity for you. Again, we offer time slots 7 days a week, and you can select times that work best for your schedule. Then the third area are those who have been in business for just a little bit, maybe 3 to 4 years, but you want to learn as much as you can about taxes. So you come to this job in order to broaden your knowledge and expertise. The reality is, though, it doesn't matter how long you've been working in taxes. Even those who have worked in the tax industry for 40 plus years still learn something new working for TurboTax Live. And the reason why that is because, again, you're going to be talking to people from all 50 states. So you'll get all kinds of different questions. But you will always have our TurboTax Live professional network and resources to help you gain more knowledge. So, right, working with those folks from different states really does help you expand your knowledge and expertise. So these are the three key areas where we see our hires from: partially to fully retired, people who treat this as a side gig and want to earn extra money, and then people learning to wanting to expand their knowledge about the tax industry. So if you fall into one of these buckets, then this is the right job for you. All right, I'm going to hand things back over to Thomas, who will be talking to you about our positions and the qualifications for each. Over to you, Thomas.
Perfect. So first, here are our TurboTax Live roles available for tax seasons, given your experience level in the tax prep market, and given you've passed the tax level 1 or tax level 2 exam. So if you successfully earn your tax level 1 badge and complete the tax preparation program that we have here, you'll get a waiver for the 2-year paid tax experience requirement needed to apply for a tax specialist role. Other qualifications for the tax specialist role, which must be met to qualify for the role, include preparing federal and state individual 1040 tax returns. A P-10 is required. There are special state requirements on some of the states across the U.S. that you do have to meet as well if you reside and work in that state. And you could complete our own Intuit Academy training, which we'll cover more in some more detail later. So if you successfully do earn your tax level 1 badge and complete the tax preparation program, you'll receive a waiver for that 2-year paid tax experience requirement needed to apply to our tax specialist role. Now, taking and passing the tax level 1 and tax level 2 can also help you stand out for our tax associate and tax expert roles. Let's talk about tax associate requirements. For this role, you need 2+ years, I should say, of paid tax experience preparing federal and state individual 1040 tax returns. Also, 30+ tax returns prepared per season. P-10 is required for this role as well. And again, those special state requirements. Now, tax experts, those requirements include having an active credential as a certified public accountant, CPA, or an enrolled agent, the EA, or a practicing attorney. So again, 2+ years paid tax experience preparing federal and state individual 1040 tax returns, 30+ tax returns prepared per season, and that P-10 is required here as well for tax expert.
All right, thank you very much, Thomas, for covering the roles and the job requirements. Now it's time for a quick poll. If you are considering applying for one of our roles, we would like to know, how many years have you been a paid tax professional? So your options are no paid experience yet, less than 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 4 years, or more than 5 years. All right, everybody get your responses in. We're excited to hear from you. Okay, let's see those results. What did everyone have to say? Okay, we've got about split, no paid experience, 30%, and 2 to 4 years, 35%. All right. And then 19% of you, more than 5 years. Outstanding. Okay. All right. Well, coming up next is our guest speaker, Elizabeth, a TurboTax Live manager here at Intuit, who was once in your shoes applying for a seasonal tax expert role and has moved her way up to a manager here at Intuit. But before she joins us on the virtual stage, I'd like to play a short video featuring a day in the life of a tax expert. Okay, so I'm going to welcome Elizabeth back to the stage here so that we can get some insights from her on her career journey with Intuit. So welcome back, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking, and thank you again for having me today. So, yeah, I started with Intuit in 2014, so this is actually my 10th season. I started as a tax expert. At that time, I was working seasonally as a preparer for a competitor. And I realized then that if I became enrolled, I could make more money. So I started Googling enrolled agents, and up popped Intuit or TurboTax. And I could see from the employee reviews that that was really a good company to work for. It was very favorable. And then I also realized, because you could Google a little more, I realized, oh, I could make a whole lot more money working there than I was making currently. So I set out to become enrolled. So I was successful at both. I became enrolled and got a job with Intuit that year. So fortunately for me, Intuit did hire me, and I've been only, really both going forward and looking up ever since. So I've been very, very fortunate. You asked about what does a day in the life of a tax expert look like? So,
Well, yes, yeah, we would absolutely love to hear about that, especially when you were in your seasonal role as a tax expert. Tell us kind of what a typical day consists of.
so I was a tax expert. I really liked the job, and I was a tax expert for about 4 years. So, what it looked like was I would, it begins with commuting, which in my case was walking down the hall, opening up my laptop at my desk, and booting up my computer, loading up all my tools and resources. And then after reviewing my emails, I would also go to what now people use is Elevate also. It's kind of a online magazine that updates everybody on new things. So after
Mhm.
reviewing all of those things, I would go ahead and go available. And upon going available, a customer would call in. They would have, just like the video showed, any number of questions. People call in because they're doing their taxes themselves. That would be one type of call. And so you'd respond to them and help them through helping them file their taxes or answering their questions. The other type of call people have now is where we actually do the return for them. So that's more of a full service call. And we actually, it's just as if they're sitting across the desk from us. They upload their documents, we talk to them, we walk through the return, we complete it, we file it for them, and so forth. So it's just the same kind of experience. We really try to mimic what people would feel like if they were actually sitting in an office across from you. So the agents do provide full service, but they also provide just as you go questions. So
Okay,
so my
that's
current
very
role,
helpful.
yeah, thank you. So currently I have, well, not currently because it's kind of, in between seasons, but normally I would have about 20-ish people on my team. So they would all be tax experts. And so basically I went from tax expert to lead, which is a person that helps an expert answer questions, and then to manager. So I've just kind of moved up along the way. So it's really been a good opportunity for me. And there's about 20 or 30 agents on a team. And so every day, people have the opportunity to meet in a huddle. And I mention this only because you talk about learning opportunities. That's an opportunity to learn from people who live all across the country, who have varied experiences. Plus, it gives you a lot of camaraderie. You learn all about other people. You make friends. And basically, we spend time doing something that everybody who likes taxes, and that's talking about taxes. So, not everybody enjoys talking about taxes, so it's really enjoyable when you have a whole group of people that find it interesting. So, I actually found being a tax expert very rewarding. Like I said, I worked about 4 years as a tax expert. And, I've asked people also what they enjoy about the job, and the number one response is always they enjoy helping people. The second one is the amount of knowledge that they receive while being a tax expert. I can guarantee you, honestly, every day I learn something new. Every day you learn something new while working with TurboTax. Just because there's a variety of calls that you get, and then you have this huge resource of people and knowledge that you can rely on. You're alone at your desk, but you're never really alone because there's always somebody you can reach out to and learn from or provide knowledge to. So also one of the great things about working with TurboTax, I think especially now, is the flexibility of making your own schedule. So that really works well for a lot of people. So
Yeah,
yeah.
super. Well, when you first started working it Intuit, what types of resources and equipment were provided to you?
Well, when I first started, I actually used my own computer. So since that time, they've really made a lot of advances. And now everybody is shipped a package, a computer package, before they start work. And it's really, honestly, it's just like Christmas. Everything is pretty much provided. You get a laptop, all the cords to connect with, you get a camera, your headset, everything. A lot of people want to have their own mouse that they feel comfortable with. Otherwise, you can use the trackpad and things like that. But everything's really provided for you. And so yeah, cables, cameras, it all comes in a nice package. And like I said, it just feels like Christmas when it arrives, kind of like Christmas when it arrives on your doorstep.
Right? I love that. What types of resources? I know people get nervous, like what if they don't have the answer right when they're on a call with the customer, right? I heard you mention, they have a lead they can turn to, but maybe share a little bit more about the resources that you use.
There's quite a few tools that people have available to them. We do all communicate through a Slack channel. It's kind of a messaging board. So there is a whole team of people that are there that if you're kind of stumped with a question, you can reach out to them and they can do a number of things. They'll DM you back and forth and give you some extra tips. They'll talk it over with you. You also have the opportunity to just say, tell your customer, you know what, I need to check my resources. So that gives you a little bit of time. You can actually go in and talk to a lead personally and get some one-on-one advice, some information that way. We have a number of resources like Elevate, which you can go and you can type in a question. We use some AI, so there's things that information that you'll get that you can then go to any kind of tax publication and look it up further. But we also have the tax book. You can also have, like, I always arrange my Slack channel so that I have all my team members, my go-to people. So, and I'm able to direct message them, and they can, provide that information back and forth in real time while you're on the phone with the customer. So there's always
Always somebody there.
there
Yeah,
is. You learn to rely
that's
on other
great.
people, and you learn to be a little bit fearless. You have to just kind of jump in and go, somebody's going to have your back, and they always have. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing some details around that. Okay, so we heard you mention, right, that you started as a tax expert. I think you mentioned you became a lead. Now you're a manager. Share a little bit more about how you made that transition, how Intuit helped you grow your career.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was very fortunate. I love my job as a tax expert, and I did that for a number of years. And one of my managers, a couple of my managers, suggested that I apply as a lead. And a lead is a person that works with the tax experts. Then they answer their questions. So I thought, okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then I became a lead. I really liked that job because you helped a lot of people who are a little nervous about answering questions. And so, and you really learn a lot of knowledge that way. So I really enjoyed that. But my manager, she suggested that I try out for apply for seasonal manager. So I did that. And that was also a great, I never thought that I would grow as I did. I really did that with the help of other people who were supportive. I became a seasonal manager. I think I did that for 2 years. Then I applied to become a full-time manager. And who would have known? When I started out with that tax expert job 10 years ago, I never thought that I would be sitting here today as a full-time manager. I love my job. I love helping people. It's just really been a great opportunity. And, I have to plug, like the tax expert job. It's an opportunity for people. Like I mentioned, I became enrolled. Well, when I became enrolled, I had to pay for the prep courses and, a lot of other things to become enrolled. Well, now people are given the opportunity to go to the academy to learn about the products. The worst thing that can happen, you learn about taxes, which isn't such a bad thing. And but you might end up finding out that you can make a career out of it. You get that job as the tax specialist. The tax specialist is what I'm talking about. And then you can go from there and work your way right up into a career, and all while being on the job. So it's really a great opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities for people with Intuit. It's a really great company.
Thank you. I love your passion. Share a little bit more about the work culture here at Intuit, right? You heard me speak about our awards and our brand recognition as a company, but we'd like to know, how would you describe the culture? What are your thoughts?
Well, Intuit, because they hire people from all around the country, it's very diverse. And so it really gives you an opportunity to meet other people and the diversity of that. And it's very inclusive. Intuit, provides a lot of opportunities for a lot of people. There's always a little spot for people. I know that you mentioned like 3 categories, where people are at in their life. So I can see from members of, like having a team of people and seeing where they're at and talking to them. So somebody who's had a career all their life, they're tired of, they don't want to work 40 hours a week every week, but they can come in and work and use that knowledge and help and mentor other people. So they're able to teach people, they're able to make some extra money, they're able to keep those brain cells and all that information active and still be a very valuable person, make extra money, go on special trips, work during the wintertime when it's cold, and then other people in different areas. So there's not just the diversity of maybe religion or ethnicity or things like that, but there's also the diversity of where people are at. Like like their age. People newer in their career, they're able to come forward and learn from others, provide other maybe technical experience, so that everybody has something that they can offer and something they can learn. So the culture at Intuit is really one where just inclusiveness and helpfulness. It's a very helpful place to work, and it's a really good feeling. I love the inclusiveness of the company.
Yeah, a lot of
I
teamwork.
do.
Excellent. All right. What do you like about working from home? What is that like for you?
Well, I love working from home. I live in Southern California, so I love the fact that, my little commute down the hallway, within minutes, I'm getting paid to work rather than traveling somewhere else and fighting traffic and then clocking in somewhere. And like I said, I really do feel that we have the opportunity to work from home, and it still feels like you're in an office with other people without having other people around all the time. So sometimes, like you're in an office with other people, you'd like to break away a little bit and not be around them. So you kind of have that opportunity to just focus on answering people's questions, but you also can be part of a bigger group. So plus just being able to, uh, clock out, go take your lunch right at home with the people in your family, and then just the flexibility of that. So that part, I love working from home. It's the best, I think. It's just really the best. So I can't say enough good things about it.
Awesome. I'm sure that's one of the perks you enjoy. Any other perks you or benefits that you enjoy most here?
Oh my gosh. Well, I enjoy all the benefits they provide. So certainly the 401k plan has been incredible. It's been a really big benefit for me. You can contribute well, you can contribute at any amount, but they match 1.25 of the first 6% of your income as of now. That's what they do. So, you have to get that 6% in there because somebody's paying you 1.25 on it. So, the 401k plan is great. They'll help pay for your internet expenses. The other benefits, there is a great ESPP program that you can get into. And I can't say, people who have their own businesses, they have the opportunity to purchase the software that we use. And that's a big benefit for people who have a small business because it's a great price. So they can supplement their personal business with income from here. So while they're working here, they can build a practice and use some of our products at a greatly reduced price. So it really helps people who are getting started to build a practice. So the software is a great benefit as well. So that is something that other things that I like, just the camaraderie and meeting people. Yeah, I've met so many people. So it's really a good job. I love the benefits.
Awesome. All right, we're going to kind of wrap things up here. One last quick question for you. Any advice you want to share with anyone on this call that might be, looking to take the leap here at Intuit?
Just like somebody told me, just give it a try, just, apply, and it's, you just apply, you just give it a shot, just jump in and see how it goes, see if you like it. And most people keep coming back year after year. And so it really does supplement your income. Don't be afraid. There's always somebody to help you. And that's actually what my job is, to help people get through their first season. And I think it's something that I'm really good at. So I say jump in and give it a shot is what I would say.
Well, I'll second that. Well, thank you so much for the incredible conversation, Elizabeth. It was great connecting with you and hearing more about your story and experience. Any questions for Elizabeth, definitely drop them in the Q&A box. I'm sure she'll be happy to respond. But we are going to move on now, and it is time for our second poll. So after hearing from Elizabeth, what interests you most about being a tax professional here at Intuit? All right, let us know your answers. Is it earning extra income, growing your tax expertise, choosing a schedule that suits you, working remotely with clients across 50 states, receiving Intuit employee benefits, Or maybe it's all of the above. Or I'm not sure if this is the right opportunity for me. And that's okay too. We want to hear from you. Get another second, get those responses in. All right, let's see. What is everyone thinking? Oh, wow. 81%, all of the above. Fantastic. Love to see that. All right. So now that you have all the information, how do you join our community of TurboTax Live professionals? I'm going to pass it back to Thomas, who's going to walk you through the recruitment process.
Perfect. Okay, let's dive into how you join our team step by step here. So once you apply to a role that interests you, you'll receive an invite to our Intuit candidate portal. That will come via email, and that'll allow you to add more information about yourself and to follow along in your hiring journey. You can also use the link inside the portal to schedule a time for a phone screen with a recruiter here. Now, once you're connected with the recruiter, your recruiter will go through some basic screening questions to help confirm that you're qualified for the role that you've applied for. If not, they'll discuss alternative roles if we have some of those available. Your recruiter will also end up sharing info on our paid training, competitive pay rates, which, by the way, do take into consideration, of course, your skills and experience, but they're also regionally driven based on the state that you live and work in during tax season. And the recruiter will also let you know about our end of season performance bonus, which does differ based on the role that you're hired for. Finally here, they'll go over our hours of operation again. So if you didn't remember everything I went over earlier, they'll review that again. You'll have technical requirements shared, and they're going to answer any questions you might have before moving on to next steps. If you meet all the qualifications for the role you've applied for and you're still interested in moving forward, your recruiter then will send a digital interview link from HireView, which is our digital interview team here. Our interview process does take approximately 60 to 90 minutes or so and consists of a handful of video questions and several multiple choice questions. These are all open book, so you're encouraged to use resources that you're familiar with, as well as few recommendations that you might get from the team here. The best part is you can complete your interview in the comfort of your own home or office when it's most convenient for you. Once you've submitted your digital interview, it's going to be evaluated by our hiring team here. And usually within a week or so, your recruiter will hopefully receive some successful results of your interview. They're going to reach back out to you with a verbal offer if successful there. And the recruiter will confirm your pay rate and your end of season bonus potential. They'll also talk through our season end and our season start dates, as well as our training program and on any other tasks that are needed to get your onboarding kicked off. Now, if you accept your verbal offer, you'll be connected to a coordinator who will send you a link from HireRight, which is our background check team, to initiate your background check. Once that's submitted, we'll get your offer letter ready for your review and get a signature through DocuSign. Now, there's a few other onboarding tasks that are required here. So a couple things to keep in mind. Your internet must be hardwired, and we do not allow the use of hotspots, cell phones, or satellite internet to perform these roles. We also will request a copy of your active PTIN for both the tax associate and tax expert roles, keep in mind. And then for our tax experts, a credential verification will also be conducted by HireRight for your background check process there. One last thing to remember, agents must already have or be able to obtain any related licenses, certificates, permits, and or bonds that are required by your states, those special state requirements that I talked about earlier. Now, you've heard a lot about Intuit today, a lot about TurboTax. You've heard who we are, our mission, our benefits about what, if you do work here, as well as the journey for a tax expert. And then from me, your recruiter, on roles available and the requirements for those roles, the recruitment process you'd have to follow and becoming a part of the team here as well. Before I hand the mic back to Laura to conclude the webinar, just a couple more minutes for me to explain and let you know about that training platform I touched on earlier for tax professionals like yourselves who are interested in additional training to further stand out from the crowd when applying for a role here. So we offer the perfect opportunity for you to do this through our Intuit Academy training program. This online training program is a great way to either showcase your knowledge and get your resume in front of our recruiters if you're already qualified, or help enhance your skills if you're not quite qualified for a position with us. The online training platform really is your one-stop shop here for all things related to learning and growing your tax career, and of course, beefing up your resume. It's designed with a community-first approach where we offer free tax courses and exams, those being the tax level 1, tax level 2, and a cryptocurrency specialty course. You can also take our courses and exams at your own pace and on your own time. So apart from being free, what are some of the key incentives that the Intuit Academy offers, you might be asking? First, you don't need prior experience to take the course. And as you know, in the job market today, not having enough experience could really be a tough hurdle to cross. So this academy, or Intuit Academy, serves as a great starting point for you to get comfortable with the tax industry in general. So you can learn it at your own pace and take the exams on a schedule that works for you. Second, if you do have prior tax experience, you're already at a huge advantage. You can either take the course or even skip the course, go straight to the exam, showcase that knowledge. These courses can serve as a great refresher for any of you who have already gotten a lot of tax experience or already have a lot of that experience under your belt. Either way, once you take and pass the exam, you'll earn your Intuit Academy badge, which will help you stand out for other jobs within TurboTax Live here at Intuit. I also want to share, we just launched our tax preparation program on Intuit Academy, and it's a great way to get tax prep experience for those of you who have none. So if you receive your Intuit Academy badge level 1 and complete the tax prep program, then no prior experience is required to pay for the tax specialist position. Or sorry, not to pay, but to apply for the position. We do have limited spots available for the pathway, so we encourage you to sign up, get that started today if you want that opportunity to get hired through the Intuit Academy program here. If you're interested, enroll, get started on your journey, really stand out for the job that you want with us here at Intuit. All right, that's it for me. I'm going back to Laura. She's going to wrap things up for us.
All right, appreciate you, Thomas. It's time for our last poll today. We are definitely excited to hear on this one. Will you apply to be a tax professional? Your options are, yes, this opportunity is a great fit for me. No, the opportunity is not the right fit for me. Or are you still unsure at this time? All right, get those responses in. All right, hopefully it wasn't too hard to decide. What did everyone say? Oh my goodness, 92%. Yes, this is the opportunity, a great fit. Wonderful. So happy to hear that. All right, so as Thomas mentioned, we are nearing the end of our webinar today. So if you have any, last minute questions, now is a good time to go ahead and add them in the Q&A box there. If you like what you heard today and you'd like to apply to become a TurboTax Live expert, the links are there in the chat for you to apply. Now, if you have already applied, but you haven't heard back from a recruiter, you can also go ahead and add your name and your email address to the chat now, and we will be sure to check on your status with our recruiters. We're also going to add a survey link here. Please do take a moment to provide some feedback before you leave here today. We really do want to hear from you on how we did, if we answered all of your questions. All right, so we've got a couple minutes left here. I'm going to go over just some, kind of frequently asked questions in case, there's still something, but feel free to add them in the Q&A too, and I'll try to answer them live here as well. So we often get asked, right, can I reside in Puerto Rico and do this work? Unfortunately, you must live in one of our 50 United States or in Canada, so U.S. territories are not included. If you're planning on living abroad in the UK or something, that is not an option. Again, our roles are US based or in Canada. We often get asked, is this a year-round role? It is not. It is seasonal. It is primarily during the months of the tax season from January to April. Let's see, we've got a few questions popping up in Q&A. Right. Nothing I see to really answer here. Our team of experts has been doing an amazing job of answering all your questions. Oh, let's talk about training for a minute. That's a great question we get asked. There will be paid training, right, for the first couple of weeks there at the beginning when you join us. It is a mixture of some self-led training, but there's also live sessions offered at different time slots. So we will make sure you're very prepared for the role. Often get asked about the pay rates, as Thomas mentioned. They are based in the state that you reside and work in during the tax season, as well as your years of experience working with, taxes and paid tax preparation. But don't forget, there is also an end of season performance bonus. And then lastly, we often get asked to, are we contractors or are we self-employed? You are a seasonal W-2 employee of Intuit. All right, I think all the questions are being answered right now. Oh, I see one, Barbara, internet reimbursement. So that is going to depend on the number of hours you are working. If you're working the minimum hours, it's a little bit less than if you decide to work up to 40 hours. But it's usually somewhere around $50 and can flex a little bit higher than that. I keep reading here. Let's see what else is in the chat. I think we've answered just about everything, folks. Thank you so much for the engagement today. We've enjoyed having you with us. Again, if you're still waiting to hear from a recruiter, don't forget to add your name and email there. We'll make sure that we do send out a recording after today's webinar. You can rewatch if you missed anything. But we do want to thank you so much for your time and being here with us today. And take care. Bye-bye.